So welcome everyone to Pitch on Demand and our Commissioner webinar with Stan today. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we live, work and travel and celebrate stories through culture traditions, celebrate the stories, culture and traditions of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. Today, I'm dialing in from the traditional country of the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains, which is quite new to me. Today we meet two members of the team from Stan Originals. They both work across the scripted and unscripted content at Stan Originals. Thank you for joining us, Amanda Duthie and Rachel O'Kine.
Hello, good morning. Great to be with you.
And you guys have come back for a second go around on Pitch on Demand, which is very exciting. Thank you.
Well, it was fantastic the first time and such an array of amazing projects. And yes, good to venture down this road again, but a slightly different format this year that we're looking for.
Very different, which we will reveal shortly. So I guess it's been 12 months almost since we last had this chat about what was going on at Stan. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what has changed, what is the same, what's your kind of biggest, most exciting commissions, what's going on?
So I think it's fair to say we've sort of moved from party bus to monster truck in terms of the amount of projects that we're commissioning for Stan. So it was around 9 or 10 projects that we delivered last year, and we're sort of working towards delivering 20 this year. So there's been sort of a supersized expansion across all the genres, and we've been pretty busy working with fantastic partners, both here in Australia and overseas, working through obviously all of the challenges of COVID 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, it just keeps going. And it's been challenging for everyone across the sector, but you know, just to continue the truck, we've kept on trucking. And yeah, really ambitious slate, working with local and international partners. And it's a growing mix across the fiction, but also the unscripted elements as well. So we're pretty thrilled that to have launched Revealed, which is a fantastic banner, sort of a curatorial direction across feature documentaries. So we've announced 7 in the last few months. Under the Revealed banner, and these are all fantastic feature documentaries from all over Australia. Some of these we've done in collaboration with our partners at 9, with 60 Minutes, The Age and the Sydney Morning Herald. So obviously Nick McKenzie's suburban neo-Nazi feature that he did in collaboration with Bentley Dean and Tanya Nemi, that launched earlier this year. We've had No Mercy, No Remorse, and we've just announced another 4 or 5, including Reef Shot from Queensland, Danielle Laidley feature documentary, The Cape from Wooden Horse, Otto on Otto, which is Gracie Otto's portrait of her dad, and also Reef Shot, which we're very excited about, which is an exploration of the citizen scientists on the Great Barrier Reef and their incredible acts of sort of examining and looking at the data around the reef to try and solve ways of saving it. So that's an amazing feature documentary slate. Plus, we're thrilled to be working with ESA on a new relationship reality series, Love Triangle, which we're pretty thrilled about rolling that out in the next little while. And obviously RuPaul is returning to our screens with series 2, and we're also doing Dawn of the Dolphins, which is tracking the incredible efforts of the master coach Wayne Bennett as he kickstarts a new team up in Brisbane. So it's never boring. It's always incredible. We're always thrilled with all the new ideas that are coming through the door. And obviously we've got quite a significant feature fiction slate. So the more recent launch of the incredible, and if you haven't seen it, please do, Nude Tuesday from Good Thing Productions. And there's multiple ways of viewing that with different sort of subtitle scripts from very, very clever people. And then coming up over the next few months will be Transfusion, Matt Nable's incredible debut as a director, writer and star, along with Sam Worthington, and also Portable Door, which will be coming out sometime in 2023. And we've got a whole bunch of Christmas, but we might park that and talk about that a little bit later. So yeah, I think that's what we're looking at with across the scripted and non-fiction. Obviously, the scripted series is sort of continues to be a priority for us across the slate, because we're working on 100% Australian IP, but we're also collaborating with international partners, such as our recent launch of Last Light, which is being distributed by MGM, and it's a partnership with Viaplay and Peacock. And we're also going out again with a series 2 of Wolf Like Me, but I might just park some more of the scripted. Oh no, I am going to do it now. So the other projects that will be coming to your screens in the next few months will be Black Snow Goalpost production, 6 by 1 hours, a really, really incredible and very special series from North Queensland. Bali 2002 is about to drop. That's a collaboration with ESA and also Channel 9. We're still in production with 10 Pound Poms, Totally Completely Fine, Year of, and also in post-production, an incredibly special series from Corey Chen and Amanda Higgs, that's Bad Behaviour. So they're sort of a snapshot of where we're at with commissioning, but also on the acquisition side, those amazing projects that come in from international companies and sit alongside the Stan Originals. We've got new seasons of Yellowstone, The Great, Billions, Vampire Academy, and also the fresh tip that just dropped yesterday, The Serpent Queen, which is really, really incredible. And because we have those studio output deals with Starz and Lionsgate and Sony and MGM, it just means that we have this fantastic pipeline of content. But added to this, of course, is the really terrific development partnership that we have with Lionsgate. So we're developing 3 projects with them from Australian production companies, and they're such a fantastic international partner to have. So yes, very, very busy, Michelle.
My goodness, such an eclectic slate across feature films, scripted series and unscripted, and the new reality love triangle sounds very interesting. So tell us a little bit more maybe about the team that you guys work with. So it's you and Amanda and Rachel, and who else is at the Stan Originals team?
The leader of our department is our Chief Content Officer, Kayla Scobie. So she oversees both Stan Originals and all of the licensed content and the output deals. And then within the Stan Originals team, it's Amanda and myself and Catherine Brown as well, who many of you will have met in the recent months, joined us about 6 months ago. And we then also have just been joined by Kelly Vincent, who, again, many people know from her time at Screen Australia. So she's joined us now as production executive. And we also have Cymbeline Johnson, who's our head of business affairs and the first person that many people deal with from a negotiating perspective.
Yeah.
So that's
awesome.
That's the team.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'm glad to hear that, given that massive amount of slate that you guys are working on, that the team is getting bigger and bigger, because it sounds like you'll need it.
Yeah.
So what is Stan's strategy in Australia, and what are some of the factors that drive your decisions when commissioning local originals?
I think it's absolutely looking at projects in relation to the slate. I think, we probably talked about this last year, but, we can't have too many similar projects that we have in the development pipeline. It is very much what is working on platform, and seeing how we might be able to sort of extend our view and development in that particular genre. I think it's also working with internationals, because I think very few of the things that we're commissioning are just financed out of Australia. You know, most everything is financed internationally. So it's working with our international partners to ensure that, you know, we're supporting and helping convert fantastic Australian production from development into production, seeing what works on the platform for Stan, but also seeing what works for global audiences.
Yeah.
So we're, you know, obviously excited by, you know, a breadth of projects, because our audience is varied and quite diverse. It skews younger. So looking at work that will sort of speak to those audiences.
When you say skews younger, what sort of primary demographic are we looking at?
Well, I think in regards to the, you know, let's say the Christmas films, the family Christmas films, that's very much co-viewing. I think that's also the absolute success of Bump. It's been able to be sort of a 3-generation post-Christmas big lunch watching delight is Bump. But then you might have other series that do skew younger. So it's because we're not sort of contained by TV, free-to-air TV schedules, it's very much thinking about what Stan Originals and what acquisitions can work for different demographic groups on the platform.
Okay, and what about the Australianness for the local commissions? How important is that Australian sensibility? Knowing that we also, you know, to reach the global audience. So.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, 100%. It's, you know, it's vital. That's why, you know, Stan Originals exists. It is to support the brilliant ideas and the vision of practitioners from all over Australia.
And so Australian audiences have something to hook into as well, based on themes or experiences that might be more relevant to them.
Okay, great. All right, well, listen, I think we should get on to the specific brief for Pitch on Demand 2022. So Pitch on Demand was created to give you guys, and in this case, this year, Binge and Paramount Plus, the opportunity to consider gaps in the slate, or what is working and what you want more of. So what are you after, guys?
So I think it's no secret now that Stan is very happy to be delivering a Christmas film every year to its audiences. We've had a really exceptional run so far with The Somewhere Christmas and then Christmas on the Farm last year. And we just wrapped production on Friday of our next one, Christmas Ransom, which is again with Every Cloud. So we are looking now to the Christmases to come, and we would love to open that up for the brief for SPA members this year. We can look at things really from the stage of being either a very well-conceived concept or short treatment document, to if something has a script already and or a package attached, but that isn't essential, because obviously it's an annual rollout, so we can be looking at things that will be ready at different stages in the coming years. So definitely a feature film format. We found that having that we can launch in late November, and people can just keep watching it through the weeks that lead up to Christmas, and then through the school holidays if they're so inclined.
Great. And as you said to me, Rachel, Christmas keeps on coming around. So
keeps coming around every year, so we know there's always a slot for it. And as I'm not sure if we've sort of spread the word widely, but it's it's just something that we want very much to be a part of the Australian cultural tradition, to have these stories to tell, and to tell them from our perspective, and to not have to rely on a European or a Northern Hemisphere interpretation of what Christmas means, and to bring it much closer to home. So it's why it's of ongoing importance to us.
So in terms of, aside from being a Christmas film, genre and audience, I mean, are we talking family co-viewing again, or is there an opportunity to go to a bit darker, or what's the thought there? Or rom-coms, romantic?
I think there's a place for, well, there's certainly a place, I think there's a place for content that makes you feel good at that time of year, and especially December, people are wanting a fun experience, an escapist experience that can take the form of a romantic comedy. It can take the form of a family film. For example, our Christmas offering this year, Christmas Ransom, has heist elements in it, so it adds that sort of kid-friendly action adventure kind of component to it. So there's ways to play with the format, but essentially we want people to be feeling really good after they've watched this movie.
Oh, great. Okay. All right. So Christmas feature film doesn't need to be too heavily developed when people submit for pitch on demand, and you're happy to work with them to continue to develop up for future Christmas. Anything else specific you'd like to add to this brief, or you're keeping it pretty broad?
Yeah, I think the specifics are, it can be a family co-viewing, or it can be, a rom-com. Christmas on the Farm did incredibly well on Stan, and Hoodlum pulled together a fantastic film, a great crew, and very, very successful on Stan. So as was Sunburnt Christmas. So both genres, happy to have a look at new work around that.
Great, exciting. Everybody's going to get their thinking caps on. So, all right, look, that's the brief. We've got some questions coming in, but just before we move to those, if you could sort of list, I guess, some of the elements that really hit the spot when you get a pitch in. I mean, what is it that you're looking for when assessing projects? Because, I mean, you must read so much.
We do read so much. I mean, as Amanda touched on earlier, part of the key consideration is how it fits within the slate and the projects we already have, and within audience groups that are already engaged with Stan. And we feel like it would be a natural progression to go from viewing something that's already on Stan to segueing into a new offering from the Stan Originals team. That's one part of it. Another part of it is also, is there something that we think maybe hasn't been tapped yet in terms of audience and Stan, and where can we look to opening up a new audience sector? So if we see something that we think speaks to an audience that maybe we haven't yet completely captured, then we would really love to explore that. Good pitch documents. It's always helpful to have a well-designed Bible with the right amount of information, not too little and not too much, and also either a strong first draft or a strong script that really speaks to the voice of the writer, of the creator. I think is what really hooks you in. It sort of gets us excited, and that's the bit that's hard to define, what gets someone excited when they read it. And also, if we feel it's makeable within the constructs of the financing environment that we're currently in. We do get a very good sense of what sort of international money is available for certain projects. So if we think something is going to have difficulty coming to fruition, then we'll say that. We're not always right, but we have a pretty good sense generally, and the right team whose experience is matched with the ambition of the project and what's expected to be delivered to the standard that we want is the key consideration as well.
And if somebody comes in to you guys and the idea is great, but you feel like they might partner, can you help to suggest potential production companies that you've worked with or you like to work with to potentially partner people with?
Absolutely. I mean, there's certainly some very well-established production companies that we do a lot of repeat business with, and that can be really excellent, I guess, production mentors for less experienced practitioners. So we're definitely happy to matchmake in that respect.
Yeah. And if somebody has a project and what they think is, you know, a strong Bible, but they haven't got to script stage yet, would you ideally recommend that they go and get funding or raise money to write that script before they come to you, or are you happy to see the Bible first and then, I mean, I guess it's chicken and egg, isn't it? But perhaps if a producer did come in with a shit hot script, sorry, I don't think I'm allowed to swear.
I might have sworn this morning as well, but yeah.
So where do you sit with that in terms of the script at the beginning?
I mean, I think that if there's a great Bible and a great concept and we're excited by the team, but there's no script and we can see a space on the slate for it, we would try and orchestrate a way to make that script happen, whether it was through us or through other partners. We've got obviously the international development partnerships we can lean on in times like that. We've got co-development arrangements we are able to activate with various agencies as well that we all work with regularly. So there's certainly avenues if an idea really does kind of light that fire.
And it's a talent discovery opportunity. I think the Christmas films, you know, to direct your first feature or to be penning your first feature, there's many opportunities. And you know, the screen agencies have been terrific in terms of bringing on attachments and also other suggestions of people into those areas. So
yeah, great. And I think that's awesome that for this initiative you're choosing something that could be a talent generator as opposed to, you know,
totally. Yeah.
Fantastic. So thank you. Just a couple of questions here, quite a few coming through on genre outside of the Christmas movie brief. What genres you're lacking at the moment? Is there an interest in sci-fi?
I would love to find a great sci-fi, yes. Particularly in the feature space, I would say leaning more towards rather than series. Although never say never.
Yeah.
And yes, I think that obviously the Christmas and the summer holidays is a very important launch period for us at the moment, but I would also be very happy if we could find something to launch for Halloween. That would be very cool if we found something that was a really excellent genre offering.
Okay, great. And I'm getting questions here on and I know you can't say specifically, but a budget range for the Christmas movie. What sort of range are you looking at?
I would say that it really would depend on the expectations for it to travel internationally or not. Sometimes they feel more Australian than others. So if we didn't have any kind of expectations of a significant international investment, then I'd say we'd try and keep it under $5 million.
Yeah, that sounds fair. And when it comes to finding those international partners, it sounds like that's something that you can help producers with. If they haven't got the finance plan in place, then you guys can work together to figure out who might be the right fit, given that you guys have a lot of intel, it sounds on the international scene in terms of who's buying and what they're paying.
Yeah, and we've got the raft of international distributors and sales agents who we buy and license content from on the acquisition side. So there's very robust relationships there in place already. Plus, we're always looking to expand it, and we bring our own address books to the table. So that is an opportunity to share those when we need to.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good to share that load and brainstorm and see, share it together, I guess, with the producer, as opposed to as a producer feeling like, you know, you have to come in and with all the questions answered at the top in terms of financing. So I think that's nice.
No, it's tough. It's tough making good content. So we need to throw everything we can at it.
Exactly. Yeah, great. I've got a question here on proof of concept for a feature film, not again for the Christmas movie, but generally. Do you like to see proof of concepts?
I'm not a massive fan personally of proof of concepts that are developed specifically to pitch a project. I would prefer to see someone's previous body of work as the proof of potential, as opposed to something that speaks only to that particular project. I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity in terms of resources if you're creating something that's just to pitch that project and not using to rather build a body of a portfolio of work.
And it's also tricky, isn't it? Because it's really hard, I think, personally, I agree with you, Rachel, in a proof of concept, it's really difficult to really, without having all the resources that you need to show what it can be like. So I feel like almost you're doing a disservice sometimes. Probably different for unscripted. I'm talking to scripted primarily.
Yeah, totally.
So we've got a question on acquisition. So if somebody's got a completed feature film, who do they come and see about that?
So there are 3 people in Stan Acquisitions, and the email address we're going to give out is originals@stan.com.au. So if you wanted to send that through, just in the subject header, just say it's for acquisitions, and we will introduce that project to someone in the content acquisitions team, and they can get back to you on that one.
Okay, great. And what about straight comedy on Stan? I mean, I know No Activity was massive a little while ago.
Still absolutely keen to look at half-hour comedies, 1 hour drama comedies. Half hours have done incredibly well on Stan.
And what about the straight half-hour drama? Does that work?
Yes, I mean, Normal People is sort of, I think, such an exemplary example of how that can be really, really terrific. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like the half-hour drama is really finding a place now that it never could in linear programming. So that's exciting. Animation.
Yes, it's sort of, we'd love to find an animation that works in the way that Rachel responded about the sci-fi. So it's really just working out the content, and probably so we're open to either family friendly animation or quite specific adult animation. We've looked at a number of animation projects, but we haven't sort of dived into it yet, but we always keep that door open.
Yeah, great. And any other, just as a final word, any other genres that you would love to see land on your desk in any format?
Actively looking for family films as well, outside of Christmas programming. And we are also on the lookout on the film side actually on the series side as well, for a really kind of meaty, muscular offering, I would say, that kind of provides a lot of thrills and hits, action beats or thriller beats as well. We don't get sent so many of those, but there's certainly a hunger for it on the platform.
Okay, great. All right. Well, look, I think that about wraps us up. For the producers out there looking to apply, the applications will open tomorrow, the 13th, after Dan from Paramount Plus finishes his webinar. And you can apply via the portal, the same place that you registered for this webinar. And they will close on the 4th of April at 5 p.m. Sydney time. And then about a month later, we'll be able to notify successful applicants. And then the one-on-one pitch meetings with those successful applicants will happen in mid-November. So all happening in the next couple of months. Fantastic. Amanda, Rachel, thank you so much.
And just a big thanks to you, Michelle, for championing Pod and welcoming us here this year and last year. And sad to see you finishing up at SPA, but look forward to talking to you on the other side.
Yes, definitely. I'll be knocking on your door. Don't you worry. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Rachel. We appreciate it.